Welcome back to episode 43 at the Art of Football 365. Today we're going to be talking about participation trophies, kind of a controversial topic throughout the entire world in sports, quite honestly. And also, as you can see, we're joined by a third guest this time around for our Friday episode, which we normally don't do. Most of the time, it's just Gannon and I's annoying voice going back and forth. But
Well,
today,
it's the first time we got another team member on air.
yeah, for sure. We've added Josh Bisker is going to be coming on today. He's one of our team members with the Art of Football 365. All the TikToks you see, they are Josh Bisker's artwork. That's he does
First me.
he does the TikToks. But before we dive into that, Gronk spike the subscribe button, leave a like for us, and leave a comment. We'll keep mentioning it. We love the feedback. I've actually had a couple people reach out to me this past week talking about certain stuff we're doing, asking how we come up with content and why we do all this. So it's been nice to reach back out to those people and have a conversation with them and add some more supporters. And speaking of supporters, our three sponsors are 312 Beef and Sausage, Bacher Auto Group, and Driftless Quality Wear. Check them out. I happen to see Driftless Quality Wear will be dropping some new outdoor wear this coming summer, so stay tuned for that. And major shout out goes to our other two sponsors. They've given us gift cards, free oil changes, and supported us with other necessities as well. So shout out to them. They've done a lot of work behind the scenes, and we greatly appreciate that. But now we have our Friday quote day. Gannon, what's the name of that?
For the Cause Friday. I'll go ahead and start it off.
All right.
It's so my quote is from Sports Motivation Quotes. It's on Instagram. Like I said before, the social media accounts I really like. It's quick reminders that you can see daily, just out of nowhere when you're on social media. But mine is surround yourself with good people who reflect who you want to be and how you want to feel. Energies are contagious. I just think that's really big because it doesn't always mold you what you're going to do on the field. It's going to shape you how you are off the field, whether it's in the weight room or it's in the classroom. Being surrounding yourself with good people 24/7 is going to get you in the right path and just ultimately set you up for success down the road when your playing career is eventually done. Because yes, it eventually comes to an end. No matter what sport you play, no matter how good you're at, you're going to have to face the real world at some time. So I thought that quote was good, and that was Bryce Harper talking about him and JT Realmuto, the Philadelphia Phillies. So I thought that was good. So what's your quote, Bryce?
First, I just want to say I liked your quote because I think you kind of explained it pretty well in the sense that like you are a product of your environment. So my advice to people with that quote is surround yourself with good energy, good vibes, positive people. Don't let negativity drag you down, and keep on fighting. Give yourself a purpose every single day. But my quote is from James Harrison, ex Steelers, the defensive end, kind of outside linebacker. He's pretty famous when it comes to football, and he's a very strong guy. A lot of people have probably seen his working out clips after his playing career came to an end. But my quote says, "I'm sorry, I'm not sorry for believing that everything in life should be earned, and I'm not about to raise two boys to be men by making them believe that they are entitled to do something just because they tried their best." And I think that quote, we don't even need to explain it because we're going to explain it the entire episode. So, uh, Josh, do you have anything you want to add for the cause Friday?
Well, your James Harrison quote kind of made me think of a movie that I watched recently. It's a pretty popular movie. It's The Tooth Fairy with The Rock. I don't know if you guys have seen it. Pretty popular, older movie. But in the movie, his stepson, he plays the guitar, and he's pretty good, or so he thinks he's pretty good. And The Rock tells him, he says, you're 12-year-old rocking it in this neighborhood, and the next neighborhood over, there's going to be a 13-year-old who's killing it, like absolute legend on the guitar. And I think your quote kind of emphasizes that part of the movie because no matter how hard you work, even if you do work hard and let's say you don't make it all the way or you don't win or you don't get that award, that that's kind of how it is sometimes. And I think the rest of this episode is going to explain that a lot better.
Yeah, I think this episode will explain a lot of things about the kind of the phrase, or not phrase, but two words together, tough luck. That's really what it boils down to. But I want to start this off by asking Gannon,
Hey,
what is
kind of before we dive into it, when Josh said the movie is kind of older, Tooth Fairy, kind of made me feel old. I don't know about you two, but that kind of was like popular when we were younger kids, and now we're growing up. It's like, oh crap, that's an older movie now.
oh
Oh, yeah.
last night when I was thinking about it, I don't know why. It's funny that Josh brought it up before we even started recording. We were talking about it, but last night I was talking about the Tooth Fairy, just kind of joking around. And when I was growing up, I always pictured Dwayne the Rock Johnson being the Tooth Fairy. So I always pictured him coming into my room giving me a dollar bill at night. But turned out it was
Yeah, that was only in your dreams. Sorry, buddy.
yeah, it's tough luck. But
Tough
Yeah.
luck.
but Gannon, I want to ask you by starting this off,
Yep.
what is a participation trophy? What is it in its blandest terms, regardless of your opinion on the subject? What is a participation trophy?
Well, the actual definition is a trophy, medal, whatever you want to be it, that you get when you complete a season when you're in your younger days playing AYSO, club basketball, YMCA, whatever it is. You complete the season, you don't quit. You go to all the games practices, you get something. Here you go for completing the season. At a point in your life when you start to growing up, you can't get a participation trophy. There's going to be a winner, whether it
Hold
starts
up,
in middle
hold up,
school.
hold up. I didn't ask you about if you should get it or not yet. I just wanted that definition. That's all I asked for.
Oh, so how did you like my definition or?
I like your definition, considering the fact that I said, "What is the definition of a participation trophy?" and you told me it was a trophy. So I really appreciate that. You just that was it was pretty bland, but I appreciate it. But
All right.
now we can start the discussion on our opinion on it. Now that you kind of got your
Oh no, you
Got a
cut
little
me
ahead of
off.
yourself.
I was just getting going. It's
yeah
okay.
a little ahead
Well,
of
we'll let
yourself.
Bryce talk.
Yeah, appreciate it. But I'll start off with my opinion again, and before you hop in and give yours before I ask you about it. But that's all good. Uh, to me, right away, I know a lot of people have strong opinions about participation trophies, and there's parents out there that believe their kids should have everything handed to them. So before we dive into this, I just want to let any of the parents know that's watching this, any of the kids that are watching this. By no means do you have to take into account what we are saying. We're just kind of putting this out there for
Straight
you.
opinion based.
Yeah, it's opinion based for you guys to consider. I know that there's going to be people out there that think that we're saying that, oh, it's a soft society, blah blah blah. People should get something if they're working hard. But my answer is no. I really don't think so. Uh, Participation trophies. My feelings kind of were explained in the James Harrison quote. I don't want my kids to be handed everything down the road. I don't want uh, say I have a kid and he's playing little league and he's growing up. I mean, I think it's okay in like a t-ball arena or something basic when these kids are young, just to keep them interested in the sport. But I think as you grow up and you go through t-ball and then eventually like you're however years old and you're in little league and you're actually playing a little bit more competitively, I think it boils down to no. It's a hard no, honestly. I don't think anybody should be given anything unless they win a championship, unless they're voted like in high school all conference or an all star or whatever they're voted for. I think you should get recognition based on actually doing something well for the season's entirety instead of just simply going out for the sport. What do you guys think?
I mean, I 100% agree. You need it early on, like in the grade school days when you're only 7, 8, 9 years old playing, because you need something that's going to make you want to come back, and there's something to look forward to. It's kind of like getting a kid's meal at McDonald's. You're going to get a toy. You're always looking forward to that because you're going to get it regardless of what you do on the field. Same goes for the participation trophy. But like you said, as you get to Little League, because I know in Little League days, if you didn't win the first place, you didn't get anything for the Freeport Little League stuff. So,
Mm-hmm.
again, that's 10, 12, 11, 13-year-olds that are playing. You're not getting anything. By that time, you need to win it or at least first, second, at least win the regular season or the tournament to get awarded anything, and that goes for life. I mean, there's one champion. We talked about this on prior episodes and prior stuff we discussed. There's one champion at every level, no matter what sport you play, what conference you're in, what division in college, pros, whatever. There's one champion. So it's tough, and it's harsh because it's like the real world. It's not fair. You're not always going to be able to get everything you want, and that's being, like you said, being handed stuff instead of actually earning it.
Mm-hmm.
right away you're going to get it, but then you're going to start to realize the hard work, and that's going to come with the weight room and the hours spent outside of just practicing the games. And that's either if you, and then that's going to really, the cool thing I like about this, before I let Josh talk, is it weeds out the people that don't want to be there.
Yeah.
You're going to get people not showing up, because if you notice that as you play Little League, or you start with T-ball up to Little League and then into high school, there's a lot of people that aren't playing anymore, doing other sports, other curricular activities. It weeds the people out that don't want to be there, and that's eventually ultimately what you want. You want to have people there that want to work and be good at the sport that you're playing, because then you're not wasting your time. You feel like you're doing something that's worth it. So I think that's kind of the coolest thing about it, because people either ultimately stay or they go, one of the two. I don't know. What do you think, Josh?
I honestly completely agree. I think when you're young and you're first starting off, in the t-ball leagues or the whatever it may be, flag football, whatever. I think those younger age groups, I think they deserve the recognition for sticking through it throughout the whole season. Going to all the practices, all the games, all that. Because when you're young like that, I think it's hard to stay focused on something and stay motivated to complete it. And even if your team doesn't do so good, because at that young age, the players aren't always going to be stellar.
That's a very fair point about the fact of focus, especially at a young age.
I mean, the attention span's way shorter.
Yeah,
exactly. So I think it's totally okay and totally right to give participation trophies to those younger age groups. But like you said, there's a line that needs to be drawn. And I look at my little siblings, and they're 10 and 11 playing baseball and softball. And, I've seen them play t-ball from when they were even younger. And now, they're actually at games right now. And the competitiveness that I've seen grow in both of them is astronomical. Mm-hmm. I mean, the two have seriously taken a deep interest in the sport. And I think that's good. And it's kind of funny because one of them, their team's really good. And the other team, they're not so good. But I think even though the one team's not so good, I don't think that they deserve participation trophies. Yeah. I think this is the weed out stage, like Gannon was just talking about.
It's the beginning.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. How old were you guys when you started playing sticks?
I was 10.
10 years old. And they're 10 and 11. So
and that's when you only got stuff for first and second, making it to
exactly. And I think that's exactly how it should be.
I mean, I think that's the cool thing, because I know I've talked to you on the phone because you live down in Florida currently, and your little brother Austin, he plays baseball, and I've talked to him on the phone about stuff because we're telling him that I play college baseball and that type of stuff. Just his evolution, the multiple times where I've talked to him about the actual game of baseball, has increased just his vocabulary and
Yeah, exactly. We watched the Cubs game last night on the TV. I mean, the whole thing.
When he explained stuff to me the last time, I could actually build a scene in my head of a play at third base when he tagged the guy or got thrown out or whatever.
Yeah,
it was.
exactly.
And that's the thing. He's interested in. He's talking about outside of being there, and that's how you know somebody that's probably going to stick it out and play at least through high school, or at least start out and see it. And some other people go to their video games and their other stuff, and that's fine. But that's what you want to find out at that age, and that's what Austin's luckily doing right now.
Yeah. I think that's a huge thing. You and Josh made incredible points right there, and I think what you just said, Gannon, that's that young age is where you find out what you're interested in.
It's either there or not, and you'll find it.
Yeah, and if you're not interested, why are we just handing things out to these kids to tell them, oh yeah, keep coming back to play this sport just because at the end of the game or at the end of the season you're going to get a nice medal. You can have a collection. But then when you're 30 years old and you look back on that, for me personally, if I've ever gotten a participation trophy, which I feel like I'm older now, I haven't really looked back at what I've won and accomplished yet. But 30 years old, when I look back, I'm going to sit there and I look at some of these medals and I'm going to be like, I didn't truthfully deserve that. What did I do to earn that? And
okay, so you say that. So let me pose you. So then, what's the point you're trying to prove with this? Do you think participation trophies should be get rid of completely, banned?
No.
But we just proved that
Yeah.
They have some worthy points
Yeah,
to a certain extent. So
Yeah,
what's the point with this?
See, I think like Josh mentioned, you have to draw a line, and I think that line is a specific age. I think there becomes
And they
a
do
cutoff.
that. So are you arguing the cutoff age or what? Because they do weed it out eventually.
Well, no, for example, I think still today in our world of high school sports, I'm almost pretty positive that in high school sports, if you're in the third and fourth place game at state, I'm pretty sure you still get something.
That's how it is in basketball.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
You made it to state.
I don't care if you make it to state. You didn't win. You didn't win anything.
If our baseball team this coming month in May makes it to the World Series out in Idaho in the final 8 teams, we're going to get something for being there.
I don't think so.
You're making it to the final site.
It doesn't matter.
You're not getting a trophy. That's not a participation trophy. You're getting recognized for being final whatever in the
But
What do you get? So
Yeah,
what do you get
that's
for
what
that?
it is. You're being recognized for participating in the World Series.
for beating out 300 other teams in the nation.
Yeah, but you're still being recognized for just being.
But you're not getting a trophy. You're just getting stuff to recognize that you're being there.
Stuff.
Those are
What's-
little stuff.
What is stuff?
So you're telling me that in the March Madness and the bubble, all that little stuff, gear stuff that they get, they shouldn't get. That's participation trophies, like the
Nah,
towels.
That's not a participation.
That's what I'm
trophy.
talking about going there. That's what you're gonna get.
What do you get? Let's say your team does make it to that Elite Eight, right? There's 8 teams
Yeah.
that make it to that tournament. So let's say you get 8th.
Well, you don't get the exact place because it's a double elimination tournament.
Okay, well, let's say you lost both of your games immediately. And what recognition do you get besides your school being able to say we made it to the tournament?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is.
But I know it's a question. What do you get?
There'll be a banner that I don't know specifically if we don't win it or not, if we'll get a banner or not, or it'll say the World Series appearance. That's what a lot of people say is World Series appearances. So we'll get that. I mean, physically, we're not getting anything. That's only for the first place stuff. So there's no participation trophy, but all the other stuff that we're getting on the side, what do you call it? So you're not grouping that into participation trophies? Like,
No, that's like a
That's-
perfect job.
See,
in high school, they're just getting a little medal. They made it to state still. You won all the regional, sectional, all those games, super sectionals, just to get there.
I don't think it matters.
Yeah, and the first place still gets a big trophy.
So does third and fourth at IHSA sports in Illinois when you make it to
still
the
different
final four.
size.
It just says something different on the front.
I don't like that. I don't like that because you didn't win. You made it there. If you make it somewhere but you don't do anything, what are you truly earning? You're earning nothing. It means nothing. I just don't see how it means anything because to me, third and fourth, if I get fourth place at the state tournament, I'm gonna go home.
You're
I'm
going to
gonna-
remember that the rest of your life, the teams at your
Right.
high school reunions and stuff, you're going to remember that you guys made it downstate.
I'm gonna remember that I finished fourth and I didn't win a championship, so I deserve nothing.
No, but you have to look at the positives.
You're still going to, Bryce, at the end
I'm
of the day,
gonna remember.
at the end of the day, the memories and the stats and all that go by the wayside. You're just going to have the
I
memories
know.
with your team.
I will remember the experience. I'll remember being there, but why should I get a trophy or a medal saying I was there? I don't need that. The memories are ingrained in my heart.
You're getting too worked up about a third or fourth place medal.
I don't think they should get it. That's just my take on it, really. I just really don't
I think you
they
would
should.
feel really differently if you got second in state for a sport and made it downstate but didn't win it. I think you would feel differently.
Well, obviously I can't say anything. I didn't make it to
No,
state.
I'm just saying.
We almost did. In
Close,
baseball.
yeah.
We're
Close.
one game away in
Is that the
baseball.
bitter taste in your mouth right now that you're fired up about, or
No,
what?
that's not what it is. It's really it's just how I feel about it because to me, if I win first, I believe the whole team should be recognized for doing
And
that.
everybody gets something. They get a ring, you get
I know.
shirts that's way more than-
I know. And then second place, I believe they should be recognized as well. You're the top 2 teams. What has 3 and 4 really done? You lost your first game playing these 2 teams that deserved it more than you did.
yeah,
they
you
deserve to
built
be
up
there.
a big win total. And
So
didn't
maybe
lose much.
they should eliminate that third and fourth for all.
That's-
So yeah, so you only think
It
they
should
should
be
play
just
two
like
games
football,
like
where it's just the 2 best teams.
Well, when it comes
That's
down,
what I think. I think that eliminates the argument here, because if
see,
they do that,
yeah.
then there's literally only 1 and 2, and you just said it yourself that second place, yes, that's okay, like that's worthy enough of a participation trophy.
I don't know. Like for me, I guess I just see it as a difference for like in the NFL playoffs. Like when at the end of the
It's
season.
different. That's different. You can't compare high school to the
wait.
pros.
I know. Just wait where I'm going with it. Like I'm not comparing teams. I'm not comparing any of that. I'm saying like as you win throughout the playoffs, like round one, nobody cares. You get eliminated. Cool. You had a decent season. You made it to playoffs. Blah blah blah. I get it. Like you said, it's a pro team, but still, like I believe like that the last four teams. There's an NFC championship and there's an AFC championship game, and that team, whoever loses the AFC championship game, they don't get anything. You lost. You lost. You're out. You're done. That team who won goes to the Super Bowl, and they get recognized. They get recognized.
So then in the pros, then when a team in baseball wins the wild card or a team wins their division and they celebrate in the locker room and they get all the clothes and all that type of stuff, you don't think they should do that? They should just treat it like another business, like another game.
No, I think that's fine.
Yeah, that's like winning a sectional championship.
Yeah,
you're not there yet.
No, third and fourth is not winning anything. I think making it to the playoffs alone, yes, you should be excited. You should be ecstatic. You should get the gear. You should celebrate. You should.
Okay, well, that's part of a participation.
Dude,
trophy theory that
no,
you're
it's
saying.
it's not, because I'm not saying that you shouldn't ever celebrate for making it. I'm saying you shouldn't be handed stuff for making it.
They're handed stuff.
What are they? They're getting a T-shirt and maybe popping champagne in the locker room. That's what.
What does it say on that T-shirt?
You won your division.
You
won your division. They're the champs of their division.
And there's 8 to 10 of those that celebrate with the wild cards and all that stuff.
So they should be excited about that.
That's a third of the NFL. So you don't think they should do that? So what you're saying in theory is that they wait till the Super Bowl. That's what you're saying in theory.
That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying if you win your division, sure, you should be ecstatic. You should celebrate. But you still haven't won technically anything yet because you're not the top team. You're not the best team. You can't say you're the best team when all you win is a division made out of 4 teams. Of 4 teams, and you win that division. You beat out 3 other teams. You didn't beat out the 30 other teams that are throughout the league.
Other teams on the schedule too, but
obviously, yeah, but that doesn't mean you played every single team. Or for example, like Dallas, the Cowboys. Like I'll bring them up all the time because they've had terrible records in the past. What if they play a team like New England throughout the season when they had Tom Brady and they get waxed, and then in the playoffs they beat that team? Sure, celebrate because that team was 14-2 throughout the season. So yeah, you should be excited. I'm not saying you shouldn't be excited. I'm not saying you shouldn't congratulate and pat yourself on the back and be ecstatic about it.
That's different from what you're saying than what happens in the pros with the celebrations. That's all I'm saying.
What do you like, Josh? What do you think?
I think eliminating the third and fourth, and even like in Gannon's case, the 8 teams. I think 8 is way too much, like way too many. I think there should be just simply the 2 best teams.
So they should narrow it down.
We're not going to get a medal. We're not going to get a trophy. We're just going to get recognition.
Which I think, yeah, like a
lot of social media and word of mouth stuff.
Okay, yeah, which is fine. Which is fine. You said that at the beginning, though. You said, oh, we shouldn't get this, we shouldn't get that. I think you should get recognized. I think you should have a social media post.
The recognition comes with stuff, and you got to acknowledge.
What does it come with? What does it come with?
We just talked about it in the
T-shirt. A T-shirt. Like you said, pros are different than college and high school.
And then the team goes out and sells all that merchandise and makes money off of it for profit, just for winning a division title. Then they could lose the playoff game the next week.
Well, now if you want to talk about that, I guess we're talking about participation trophies, but let's dive into that a little bit. You said the team, they make money off of that.
It's all similar.
I know. Hold on. I'm saying, like you said, the school goes ahead and sells these T-shirts and stuff. How about players in college making money? Should players in college make money? Should they?
I 100% think they should.
Should they be recognized? Because I think they should.
Absolutely.
The main reason why
so much money for those schools and universities, they should absolutely be.
So yeah, like I'm gonna say like one thing on this because there's a lot of people that have differing statements. Like I've talked to my parents about it, other friends, like that type of stuff. There's this guy who's like Geo Baker from Rutgers University, Jordan Bohannon from Iowa, and then Jordan Poole, I forgot his name, Isaiah Livers from the University of Michigan. As 3 basketball players, and they created a movement on Twitter called #NotNCAA property, and they had a big thing. And the guy Geo Baker from Rutgers made a good thing on Twitter. He said, if I was just a normal kid on an athletic scholarship that didn't play sports, and I wanted to start a tutoring service and people could pay me to tutor them for the subjects that I'm smart in, I can take that money and nobody says anything.
Yeah.
But in my case, in Gio's case, if he wants to go run a basketball camp during the summer back home and charge people some money for it for a day,
get in trouble for it.
He'd get in trouble and technically be deemed ineligible because he got paid.
That's ridiculous.
And that scenario specifically, that is unacceptable.
It is. You're training someone.
I was getting paid to run Highland basketball camps, and I didn't even play basketball.
Yeah.
And he can't go do that?
Well, I think another thing with that is, like, people forget.
Something's got to change.
Yeah, for sure, but people forget to understand that, like, all sports are entertainment for people to watch. And yeah, when you're inside the sport, like, for example, Gannon playing baseball, like, you're locked in, you're working hard, you're the one lifting those weights. I don't like, a fan's not out there lifting weights with you. They're not pushing you every day to be the best player you can be. Like, it's the players that deserve this stuff. Yeah. They deserve recognition. Recognition to me,
yeah.
I think recognition, money, is different than a participation trophy, because I believe that you've truly worked for something, but you haven't earned a championship yet. You've worked to get to the playoffs. You've worked to win 30 games in baseball, whatever it is. You've worked to win a conference championship, a divisional championship, whatever it is. You worked for that. But I don't think you should get recognized.
The thing is, there's different levels of the recognition that I'm just saying that come with boundaries that kind of interfere with the participation trophy thing and the champion thing. There's going to be some stuff, at certain levels, but there's still going to be stuff that intertwines with both of them. That all I'm saying that you got to recognize, or that it's out there, and there's just come in different forms. That's all I would say.
Yeah, I think it also boils down to like if you ask the majority of probably high school athletes, I think most of them would feel the same way in a sense for certain things. Like when it comes down to like if you win, like for example, like 6 games this year, okay, in high school football, my brother was a part of it. They played 6 games, didn't have playoffs. Technically, they really didn't have like a conference champion, but they labeled it as conference champion, and they still had recognition for being the number 1 team in the state. So my question to you guys is so Aquin, they tied in the AP poll number 1 with Lena Winslow for football this year, but they also got
at the end of the year.
At the end of the year, with the AP poll, they got tied. Coaches poll, they finished first. So in a year where there's nothing else and there's no playoffs, I think it's okay to celebrate that. I think it's okay. I think that in itself is a participation trophy, because that's all they got to do this year was participate. They didn't have anything to look forward to. They didn't have playoffs. So what recognition can they get other than being the number 1 team in the state or claiming themselves to be conference champs because Lena was on their side and Aquin was on their side? So celebrate that. There's no playoffs. You have nothing to look forward to. You're never going to know who the champion was that year. Look forward to that. Accept that and celebrate that. I don't think that's a participation trophy. I think that is just understanding there was nothing there for them to win. But they still battled it out. Aquin went 6-0. Lena, I think, went 4-1 maybe. They had 1 game. They got canceled on them. The season got canceled. But those were the top 2 teams. I'd say so. There was also another team in Fulton who was up there. Dupek and Lena had a hell of a game last game of the season, but that's what you play for. I don't think in the regular season, obviously, you want playoffs. You want to win a championship, but you also play to beat the head off of some team that's ranked number 1 in the state. That it like for example, Aquin. What?
I was just gonna say, you want to be the best, you got to take out the best.
Yeah, and Aquin didn't get that opportunity this year to play Lena, so I think it's I'm an Aquin guy. All 3 of us, or not 3 of us, 2 of us are. Gannon went to Freeport. It's tough. We hang out a lot, so it feels weird. But me and Josh are both Aquin guys, and we understand that Lena's been a top dog in football for years, years. And in order to be claimed that number 1 team in the state, I think you got to beat them. You got to beat them. And I love Aquin. I helped with the coaching staff this year, and I think truthfully, in my head, which I'll never know, I believe they are the number 1 team in the state. But at the same time, Lena is a damn tough football team who's won state championships the past couple of years, a whole decent amount of them the last couple of years. So I can't automatically tag Aquin to be the number 1 team in the state without seeing that football game. That's all I'm saying when it comes down to participation, because all they had the chance to this year was to participate. They had nothing to look forward to. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the only option they had. That was their ultimatum.
Yeah.
That's
So
all
I
they
think
had.
I think it's a good example saying like, what if there isn't a championship there? Then how do you judge participation based on that? Like for Akron, it was we're the number one team in the state.
You
So
just
how
go
else do you
straight up
judge
off.
it?
You just go straight up off records. That's all you can do in a year like
Which
this.
sucks, but
How is the you said the AP poll they tied, but then the coaches poll Akron was number one, correct?
well,
It all depend on the voters.
it's voters. Coaches poll was strictly just the
AP's like
conference.
media,
AP is media, who people who
Associated Press.
no offense to media, and honestly, we're doing something media right now, but these media people are people that haven't watched a single football game and know nothing about football, and they're voting on something they've never been a part of. So that's my take on that. And the AP poll is a joke. Coaches poll is where I look at.
Tell
But
me
I
how
think,
you feel.
yeah, I mean, you can't like how are you going to tell me media poll like for some people who've never played sports or not like I want to talk about that for a second. Honestly, I just rant a little bit, but like the media AP poll is a bunch of people voting on something. They're looking at the outside looking in. Coaches poll is the coaches who are involved strictly from the inside. They play these teams. They go up against them week after week. They're a part of their own team week after week. I think it matters more about someone who's voting from the inside than someone who's voting from the outside looking in. That's just how I feel about it. I'm not discrediting the AP poll at all. I mean, kind of, but media members do a hell of a job. But I don't think they should vote on who's the best when they.
But it turns back to the same thing as before with the participation. It's stuff that's been in line for years. You always have had the AP poll. You're always going to have that, and you have the different polls. College football, there's 3 or 4 different polls that come out.
I know it's going to be there.
And you're going to look at the coaches one or the more of the football knowledge one as the main one, but it's just another thing that it comes with it. It's just par with the course. That's all it's going to come down to. And you got to have that flair because it's people. You can't only have the sports people voting. You got to have some other people that feel like they have a little bit of pull and say and stuff, because then the media coverage and all the news reporters, that make their livelihoods out of that are some of those people invest a hell of a lot of their time. And they're not even an athlete.
I know.
They're watching film and spending a lot of time on the road, not seeing their families.
Yeah.
I mean, and I agree with you that compared to the coaches poll, there's a big
that's all I'm doing.
But that's why you have the different ones. You have options. There's just different stuff to look at.
No, what I'm like, obviously,
I'm the same with the participation. That's my last thing. Like, it's the same theory, the same baseline with the participation trophy. Yeah, there's flaws with it. There's also positive things with it. You can't just get rid of it. And
I know.
Other than that, there's really nothing else you can say about it.
Yeah, I'm not saying get rid of the AP poll by any means. I'm just saying which one I value more.
I'm just saying in context of both examples, they're interchangeable because it's a concept that's been around.
Yeah, I agree.
To some extent, it's going to be followed for the rest of the time athletics is around.
Yeah, I definitely think it should be there. I mean, growing up when you're playing high school sports, you love to know what the media thinks of you. I mean, some people are like me personally. Like I'll be the first to admit it. I like the attention in high school. When I'm playing well. I liked that stuff. I liked when media members came to recognize our team, came to recognize good things going on, and I appreciate all the hard work they do. I truly do. I'm just saying which one I value more when it comes down to ranking a team. I'd rather hear it from a coach than hear it from a media member who spends 30 minutes at a football game, watches a half, ditches out, gets some video clips, goes back to the office and puts them together and says, "Okay, I saw 30 minutes, I saw a half. This team looks dominant."
That's the nice thing about having the options.
Yeah, for sure.
I have a question for you guys.
What's up?
So do you think in the next 10 years, let's say, do you think the age that kids continue to receive participation trophies, do you think that age will go up, go down, or stay the same in the next 10 years?
You go first.
I think it's a big influence in all this that we're talking about right now is travel and club sports all across the country, because in every single sport, volleyball, baseball, basketball, I mean, football with the Pee-wee, whatever it's called, the younger
Pop Warner.
The Pop Warner stuff is 3rd and 4th grade kids. and it's smashing each other in the mouth full pad football with some of these kids are playing before they're even, fully matured through middle school. And I think that's going to really drive the age down and just the ratio of participation trophies that are given out, because these parents, I saw a good thing about it. I forgot where I was at. I think I was in athletic training class or something about the parents like living through their retirement plan can't be their kids' athletic careers. And that's the sad thing you're going to run into is a lot of these people's retirement plans are their kids' athletic careers when they're 10, 12 years old, throwing all this money out the door just for their kids to get their name out there, get D1 looks when they're in 8th grade to be the number 1 player or whatever in the country. That's going to really hurt the participation trophy of some of the core reasons why it's important to society and athletics. And I think some of those are going to get damaged because of the just club and travel sports as a whole and their popularity increasing by like 2030 or whatever.
Now you said you used the word damaged, but would you say it's a good or a bad thing if that happens?
I say if it gets to that damage territory, it's bad because, like I said, it's diminishing all the values that they were in place to do originally that they were successful at. Like Bryce said, there's also flaws about when to cut it off and all that. You're not going to have a problem when to cut it off with this because this is going to fully drive it out in some areas, especially down south where people are playing full year round for outdoor sports and just the bigger cities and all those heavy influences with club sports. It's a major thing that there's tournaments being played indoor and outdoor for no matter what sport year round every weekend. There's tournaments going on.
Yeah.
And I think the damage to some extent is going to be bad, and it's going to harm the people, one, body-wise, physically with injuries, and two, people's mental state and interest in the game of just getting or just not going because it's too much work right away instead of easing into it.
I don't know.
Because I know Bryce and we talked about the burnout stuff before. We started playing travel ball when we were 9, 10, and we still hit that at a point. Like some days it's like, crap, man, do I really want to go to practice? My body's not feeling it.
Well, for me,
I know Bryce loves it. Bryce loves it not playing anymore.
For me personally, I played baseball starting at 9 years old, or way before 9 years old, but
You
travel
miss
ball.
it. You miss it,
But starting at 9 years old with travel ball and playing freaking 9 to 10 years of 40-plus games
Every
each and every
weekend.
summer, I mean, it's great. And I give all the credit in the world to my coaches that put us through there and got us that experience because without it, I wouldn't have played college ball. Our high school team wouldn't have been successful. The memories will never leave my
one of a
mind.
kind.
But at the same time, ever since I've decided to hang them up, for me, it's strictly been this podcast. I don't think about baseball anymore. I really don't. And I don't know.
You don't really watch the MLB.
I haven't. And it's not because I don't love the sport. It's just because my mind and my body's so burnt out from the game that it's not that I fell out of love with it. It's just that I fell in love with something else.
Yeah.
I fell in love with doing podcasting and stuff like that. But my answer to Josh's question, first I want to say shout out to Coach Big Pete with deepdishfootball.com because he put us on an interview. We talked all that. But his Twitter, he puts out a tweet every other week, I'd say. And it says, do not pay for recruiting services. It's a scam.
Big time.
So for you mentioning all these parents that are like, oh yeah, we gotta pay for this NCSA or whatever it is, recruiting profile. We gotta get our kid noticed. That's not how it works. Don't waste $2,000 on doing something like that. Get on Twitter, email head coaches, email recruiters, DM your highlights, post your highlights, have your GPA, what school you go to, your height, your weight. Put that in your bio on Twitter. Twitter is a resource. Use it. And I think that boils down to participation as well because these parents, I think they do a hell of a job of being there for their kids. I think parents nowadays in my generation are awesome. They always have your back. I know my parents have, Gannon's parents have, Josh. We have parents that have our backs, and that's how it should be. But I also think it boils down to I see in the future this coddling thing getting worse. I really do.
How much worse?
Worse than it is now. I don't know how much worse, but worse than it is now. And I'm not saying necessarily that much worse. I'm just saying the society we live in today is soft, very soft, and I think that's a fair statement. But in the sports world, I think it's soft. Not necessarily everything that's going on in the world, but I think
it also changes with time. That's something we don't have control over.
It's a generational thing, is what it is. So, but I know me, Josh, and Gannon aren't we're not going to be the parents that hand everything to our kids. We want people to work for it. But there is going to be other people that we're friends with that
No,
give
we
their
know.
kids
Yeah,
everything.
I mean, we can think of some of the same people
It
right
all
now.
boils.
All three
It
of
all.
us.
Yeah.
It happens.
It boils down to your personality as an individual. If you're willing to hand something out or make someone work for it.
It's life.
I have an example.
Those little things are gonna pop up like life. It's just another thing you encounter.
Let me give my example.
Yeah, let's hear this.
Okay, so you have a dog. Josh and Gannon know that dogs don't like me for some reason, but
No, you just don't like them either.
okay, you have a dog. A dog has to earn a treat. So, for example, in order to earn that treat, you tell your dog to sit. And then once the dog sits, you tell him to shake. And when that dog shakes, you give him a treat as a reward. But what if he doesn't shake or what if he doesn't sit? You still give him that treat? Some people do. Some people do.
Not if you're really training the dog.
Exactly.
Like,
that's what I'm saying. So I think as a parent,
that's a different normal people that don't have the. All right, Bryce, we can tell you haven't had a dog because if you're getting that, you're paying somebody to go to a camp or a class. On your own, you're just having fun with them, and you might slide them for the hell of it.
Let me get to where I was going with it. As a parent, we're training our kids to be something. We are leaders of our kids. They follow what we do. We're their inspiration. They also have outside influences, but at the end of the day, direct influences of your environment are what makes you who you are.
Which goes back to Gannon's quote.
So what I'm saying about that dog is if you just give him a treat without, obviously, you're training him, you take him to be trained, but if you just give him a treat, then what does that dog become? It becomes a dog who begs for food when you're at the dinner table instead of being patient and laying down.
I know with Josh raising dogs, he's had plenty of animals and stuff. It's one of those things, once the dog's 2, 3, 4 years old and they're more matured and they quieted and calm down, you'll slide them a treat here or there.
I know.
It's one of those things that it just happens.
I know it's not the same by any means. I'm just giving an example in the sense that, I'm saying, we train our kids, you train your dog. I'm not comparing a dog to a person by any means. I'm just
talking about the simple basics of training a dog.
Yes, I get that. Like I said, I've never had a dog. But what I'm also saying is, that's just my take on it. Our kids look to us for inspiration. They look to us for leadership. And we are their direct influence, and we're their product of an environment. We shape their environment. So why would we coddle them? Why would we give them something for free? Make them earn it. Make them become hard workers, and I guarantee those people end up successful. And I'm not going to lie to you, this has probably been my favorite episode I've done.
Once you wrapped it up, I was like, all right, this was probably about hitting the max capacity.
Yeah, it's definitely there. I don't have Zoom Pro yet. We're going to have to get that
sometime. Josh, thank you, brother, for joining us. This was fun.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I'm glad you guys asked me.
Yeah, this was kind of spur of the moment. Just had a phone call an hour ago.
For anyone who's listening, me, Josh, and Gannon, we talk on FaceTime every single day. And I think that was part of the reason why this episode was so energetic, because we have conversations about absolutely everything and anything at any time of the day or 3 a.m. So that's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
So it was a nice conversation.
Yeah. Josh, thank you. We both talked enough today, so we'll wrap this sucker up. So, again, shout out to our sponsors. Keep viewing, liking, and subscribing our channel. Check us out on YouTube. Really enjoy your feedback. Like Bryce shared a story about some guy that sent him a text message asking him about stuff. That was really cool to hear. But keeping giving us feedback personally, and then on our main pages on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all that stuff. Run it up and let us know how you like it. And this will be the Friday drop, so enjoy it, guys.
Tomorrow morning, Saturday morning, 8 a.m., the story of Gabe Howard. Check that one out, too. Hope you enjoyed this.